Something brought you here today. Maybe you don't know why. Not yet. But somewhere deep inside, you can feel it. It's like a soft whisper in a quiet room. A gentle nudge. You can't explain. Sometimes, the universe doesn't send us signs in grand, dramatic ways. It comes like a breeze brushing past your skin, subtle but unmistakable, reminding you that it's time to step into a new chapter of your life. Perhaps you've been carrying something heavy lately, a weight you can't quite name. You wake up in the morning, and even after a full night's sleep, the fatigue lingers. It's not just in your body, it's in your mind, looping thoughts that never seem to stop. Worries that circle back again and again like a broken record. You've told yourself it's stress. You've tried to explain it away: too much work, too many responsibilities, too many unknowns. But what if it's more than that? What if what you've been feeling isn't just the product of a busy life, but the quiet, relentless grip of something unseen? There is an invisible fog around us, one we've never been taught to see. It doesn't show up on a medical scan, and no doctor's prescription can touch it. But you feel it, in the tension that never leaves your shoulders, in the hollow ache that coffee can't cure, in the restless nights where sleep comes but never truly restores you. This isn't just stress, it's negative energy, a silent invader that seeps into your life drop by drop, until you no longer remember what it feels like to be light, free, and fully alive. And if you're watching this right now, please know it's not a coincidence. This message has been circling its way toward you, waiting for the moment when you were ready to receive it. Maybe today is that moment. Maybe this is the sign you've been quietly asking for, even when you didn't have the words to ask out loud. I've come to believe that there are no true accidents in life. What we call random is often just a deeper pattern that our conscious minds can't yet recognize. You being here, hearing these words, is part of that pattern. It's a call not from me, not even from this video, but from within you, from a part of yourself that you may have forgotten or perhaps never fully met. Today, we're going to open a door together. On the other side of that door is an ancient truth, one that has been kept safe for thousands of years by civilizations who understood far more about energy and consciousness than we give them credit for. These people knew something vital, that what we call negativity is not just an emotion or a bad day. It's a tangible, living field of energy that can cling to us, distort our clarity, and slowly drain our vitality if we don't know how to clear it. Think of it like a heavy mist you walk through every single day. Most of us have learned to ignore it, to live as if the fog is normal. But it's not. Beneath that fog, there is a clearer, brighter version of you, one that has always been there, waiting to be uncovered. And here's the most beautiful part: you don't have to fight or struggle to reach that clarity. You don't need to push harder, to be stronger, or to fix yourself through sheer force of will. The truth is far gentler than that. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you a simple practice, a sacred 7-minute technique passed down through generations that can dissolve that fog and free you in ways you might not yet believe are possible. But this isn't just about removing darkness. It's about learning how to transform it, to take the very energy that once weighed you down and turn it into fuel for your freedom, your creativity, and your inner light. By the end of this journey, you will not only know how to release the heaviness you've been carrying, but also how to step forward with a sense of sovereignty over your own energy. So if you've been longing for clarity, for lightness, for a way back to yourself, stay here with me, because this moment, this very breath, could be the turning point you've been waiting for all along. 1. Negative energy, the invisible dust of life. Imagine, for a moment, that every argument you've been a part of, every breaking news headline that filled you with worry, every angry glance exchanged in passing, is like a speck of dark, invisible dust floating in the air around you. You don't see it, but it's there, drifting closer and closer until it settles not on the furniture, not on the floor, but directly onto you. This isn't the kind of dust you can wipe away with a cloth. It lingers in the unseen spaces, clinging to the field of energy that surrounds your body, what some traditions call your aura, or your subtle body. This field is as real as the skin that wraps your bones, but we've never been taught to recognize it. And because we can't see it, we underestimate its impact. Over time, these tiny particles of negativity begin to pile up. At first, you barely notice them, a little fatigue at the end of the day, a brief moment of irritability that passes quickly. But just like real dust in a home that hasn't been cleaned for months, what starts as a thin layer eventually becomes a suffocating blanket. You've probably felt it before without realizing what it was. That tightness in your shoulders, the kind you can't seem to stretch away, the persistent headaches that medicine only dulls for a while, the sense of being unsettled or lost, even when nothing specific has gone wrong. These aren't random aches and pains. They're signs of an overloaded energy field. Your body is whispering to you, trying to tell you that you've been carrying something that isn't truly yours. Most people never make this connection. They chalk it up to getting older, to a bad mattress, to just one of those days. They keep pushing forward, never questioning why their inner world feels heavier and heavier as the years go by. But here's the sobering truth. The vast majority of humanity lives and dies inside this fog of negative energy, never once realizing they could clear it away. They adapt to the heaviness as if it were normal, the same way a fish doesn't notice the water it swims in. And because they've never known anything different, they don't even dream that life could feel lighter, freer, more vibrant. I often think of this like walking into an old attic filled with decades of dust. At first, you don't notice it. Your eyes adjust. You get used to the smell, and you move around as if everything is fine. But then a beam of sunlight cuts through a crack in the ceiling, and suddenly you see it. Millions of tiny particles swirling in the light, dancing in patterns you couldn't perceive just moments ago. That's what awakening feels like. It's not that the dust wasn't there before. It's that you finally see it for what it is. This negative energy accumulates from so many sources. It seeps in during heated conversations. It drifts toward you as you scroll through headlines designed to provoke fear. It latches on when you sit in a crowded room filled with unspoken resentment. And sometimes, it comes from within, from your own repeated thoughts of doubt, anger, or grief. None of this makes you weak or broken. It simply means you've been living as part of a collective system that no one ever explained to you. You were never taught how to tend to your energetic self the way you care for your physical body. We shower to clean our skin, but we have no daily ritual to clear the buildup around our spirit. The danger isn't in a single particle of dust. It's in years of accumulation. When the fog grows dense enough, it begins to cloud your perception. You stop trusting your instincts. Bright ideas seem just out of reach, like they're trapped behind a veil. Even simple decisions feel exhausting, because you can no longer distinguish between your true inner voice and the noise of everything you've absorbed from the world. And here's where it becomes truly heartbreaking, because this fog is invisible. People blame themselves. They think, I must not be strong enough. I must be lazy, or flawed, or incapable. They never suspect that what they're really battling is a layer of energy that isn't even theirs to begin with. But there is another way. The first step is simply to recognize that this fog exists, to understand that what you've been feeling isn't all in your head, it's in your field. Once you see it clearly, you can begin to release it, little by little, like opening a window and letting fresh air in. This is where freedom begins, not by fighting the darkness, but by realizing you were never meant to carry it at all. 2. The ancient world knew this all along. There is something profoundly humbling about realizing that the truths we are only now beginning to glimpse with modern science were already understood thousands of years ago by civilizations long gone, long before there were microscopes or laboratories. Before words like quantum field or neuroscience ever existed, there were men and women who understood the invisible threads that weave through life. They didn't just suspect these forces were there, they lived in harmony with them. More than 5,000 years ago, far across the world from each other, great civilizations were quietly uncovering the same mystery. The Egyptians, the Indians, the Chinese, and countless indigenous tribes separated by oceans and vast distances, unable to communicate or trade ideas, all came to a shared understanding. They saw that negative energy was real. It wasn't just a bad mood or a passing thought. It was a tangible force, something that could cling to a person the way mud clings to shoes after walking through a storm. And most importantly, they realized that it could be purified and even transformed. In ancient Egypt, this understanding became a sacred science. Imagine the flicker of torches inside vast stone temples, the echo of chants rising into chambers carved with symbols of stars and gods. The Egyptian priests didn't just worship their deities, they studied the very fabric of existence. Through breath and sound, they learned how to guide energy, to use vibration like a tool for cleansing the body and spirit. To them, sound was more than music. It was a bridge between the seen and the unseen, a way to reorder chaos into harmony. Meanwhile, in India, sages were retreating into the mountains, sitting in stillness for hours at a time. From their deep inner journeys, practices like yoga and pranayama were born. They discovered that the breath was not just for survival, it was a sacred current of life force, what they called prana. When the flow of this life force was blocked, illness and confusion arose. When it moved freely, clarity, vitality, and spiritual awakening followed. On the other side of the world, in ancient China, Taoist masters were observing nature with a patient, reverent eye. They noticed the flow of energy qi that moved through rivers, winds, trees, and yes, through the human body. They saw that when this flow was disrupted, imbalance and disease appeared. To restore harmony, they created practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, graceful, flowing movements, combined with mindful breathing, to guide qi back into balance. And among indigenous tribes long before Europeans ever arrived, there were shamans and healers who also knew this truth. They didn't have written texts or grand temples, but they had the forest, the fire, the drumbeat of the earth itself. They burned sacred herbs, like sage or palo santo, to cleanse spaces. They danced and sang around fires, using rhythm and ritual to release stagnant energy back into the natural world. For them, healing wasn't something done in isolation. It was a communal act, a way to reconnect with the heartbeat of the land. What moves me most about all of this is how universal it is. These cultures didn't share a language. They didn't trade ships or maps. And yet, across continents and centuries, they discovered the exact same essence, that our inner world could become clouded, and that there were ways, precise, intentional ways to cleanse it. It's as if humanity was handed pieces of the same puzzle, scattered across the earth. Egypt held one piece, India another, China another still, and the native peoples yet another. When you step back and look at the big picture, you see a clear message. No matter where we come from, we are all part of the same greater whole. This realization fills me with awe. It tells me that this knowledge didn't come from human invention alone. It feels older than that, like a memory etched into the very fabric of life itself, waiting for those who are willing to listen. And perhaps this is why, even today, when we take a deep, mindful breath, when we move with intention, when we gather in nature to release our pain, we feel a subtle shift. Something inside us recognizes the ancient ways. It's like touching a part of ourselves we didn't know we'd forgotten. The methods may look different: a temple chant, a yoga pose, a slow Tai Chi movement, of a shaman's drumbeat. But the heart of the practice is always the same: to clear the dust from our energy field, to return to clarity and strength. When we practice these ancient ways, we are not just healing ourselves. We are stepping into a lineage that stretches back through millennia, joining hands with those who came before us. It's a reminder that we are never alone in this journey. Others have walked this path, others have faced the fog, and they left us a map to find our way home. 3. Modern science, catching up with ancient wisdom. There is a quiet beauty in realizing that science is finally beginning to put language and proof to what ancient cultures have always known. For thousands of years, spiritual teachers spoke of invisible forces that connect us, of energies that flow through and around us like unseen rivers. For centuries, these ideas were dismissed as superstition or poetry. But today, with the advancement of quantum physics and neuroscience, we are witnessing a reunion, a moment where the mystical and the measurable finally meet. Modern science tells us something extraordinary. Every single human being is surrounded by a field of energy. It's called the bioelectric field. And while you may not see it, you've already felt it many times in your life. Think about walking into a room where two people have just argued. Even if they've stopped speaking, you can sense the tension hanging thick in the air. No words are needed. Your body knows. Your chest tightens. Your mood shifts. Or perhaps you've met someone whose presence felt instantly calming, like stepping into a warm, quiet space in the middle of chaos. That isn't just intuition or imagination. It's your energy field interacting with theirs. A silent conversation happening beneath the surface. Scientists now understand this through the concept of resonance. Imagine two tuning forks sitting side by side. When you strike one, the other begins to vibrate at the same frequency, even though no one touched it. That's resonance. The same thing happens between people. When you are near someone radiating anger, stress, or fear, your own field begins to match theirs. Just like the tuning forks. Without even realizing it, you take on their heaviness. This is why you can leave a crowded place feeling drained, or walk away from a conversation feeling like you're carrying someone else's emotions inside you. It's not metaphorical, it's physics. And here's the challenging part. If you don't know how to protect or clear your own field, this buildup of external energy stays with you. It doesn't just vanish when the moment passes. It lingers, like smoke clinging to your clothes long after you've left the fire. Think about how this plays out in everyday life. You start the day feeling fairly balanced. Then, on the way to work, you sit next to someone on the bus who's deeply anxious. Without a word exchanged, your breath unconsciously shifts, becomes shallow, quick, almost like theirs. Later, you encounter a coworker who's angry about a deadline, and their energy collides with yours. By the time you get home, you're exhausted, irritable, and you don't even know why. So often, we blame ourselves for this heaviness. We think, I'm too sensitive, or I just need to toughen up. But the truth is, you're experiencing a natural, measurable phenomenon. Your nervous system and energy field are responding exactly as they were designed to. This is where neuroscience adds another layer of understanding. When you're in a stressful environment, your body enters fight or flight mode, flooding you with stress hormones. Your breathing becomes shallow, your muscles tense, and your body locks into a state of readiness, even if there's no real threat. Now combine this with what quantum physics shows us, that we are not separate islands, but interconnected systems constantly exchanging information. Your state doesn't just belong to you. It ripples outward, influencing others, just as theirs ripples back toward you. We are, in a very real sense, mirrors for one another. This isn't mystical thinking. It's data. Scientists have measured how heart rhythms, brain waves, and electromagnetic fields synchronize between people who are near each other. They've documented how one person's calm presence can stabilize another's nervous system, and how collective stress can spread like a virus, without a single word being spoken. Understanding this changes everything. It means that your feelings, your fatigue, even the heaviness you sometimes can't explain, they're not all yours. They are part of a constant exchange happening in the unseen spaces between us. And it means you have a choice. You can move through life as a sponge, unknowingly absorbing the chaos around you. Or you can begin to see yourself as an active participant, someone who can tend to their energy field with the same care they give to their body or their home. The ancients didn't need machines to tell them this was real. They felt it, lived it, and developed practices to keep their energy clear and strong. Today, science is simply giving us the language and tools to understand what they always knew, that we are deeply connected, and that the invisible is just as real and just as important as what we can see. The more you understand this, the more compassionate you become with yourself and with others, because you begin to see that what you feel isn't always coming from within you. Sometimes, it's simply passing through, like a storm cloud drifting across the sky. And when you know that, you can let it pass, rather than carrying it as if it were your own. 4. The greatest mistake, the trap of toxic positivity. One of the most exhausting journeys a human being can take is the constant pursuit of being positive at all costs. So many of us are taught, sometimes subtly, sometimes very directly, that to be spiritual, enlightened, or even just good, we must eliminate every trace of negativity from our hearts. We are told to always smile, to stay cheerful, to turn every painful moment into a lesson, and never let anyone see us stumble. At first, it sounds admirable. After all, who doesn't want to be happy and at peace? But this relentless chase for positivity can quietly become a prison. You start putting on a mask for the world, and worse, for yourself. You tell yourself, if I just think happy thoughts, this sadness will disappear. If I stay optimistic, this fear will vanish. And for a while, it may seem to work, but deep down, you feel the truth. Underneath the surface of forced smiles and carefully chosen words, something begins to ache, because no matter how hard you try, you can't erase the full spectrum of your humanity. Sadness still rises like a tide in moments of loss. Anger still flares like fire when your boundaries are crossed. Fear still curls in your stomach when you sense danger or uncertainty. These emotions aren't mistakes to be corrected. They are messengers, carrying essential information about your inner world and your outer experience. Sadness is not a weakness. It is the tender signal that something dear to you has been lost. Anger is not a flaw. It is the sharp, protective voice that says, something is wrong here. My boundaries have been violated. And fear, though uncomfortable, is not your enemy. It is the instinctual alarm that whispers, pay attention. Something here could harm you. When we treat these emotions as enemies to be destroyed, we begin to fight against ourselves. And when we suppress them, shoving them into the dark corners of our mind because we believe they're unacceptable, they don't actually go away. They simply hide. I often think of this like storing old furniture in a basement. You pile it down there, out of sight, telling yourself you'll deal with it later. But as the years pass, the basement grows cluttered. The air becomes heavy and musty. And one day, without warning, the door bursts open, and all that you've been avoiding comes spilling out, overwhelming you. This is what happens inside of us when we repress our true feelings. The sadness, anger, and fear don't disappear. They ferment. They gather pressure in the hidden spaces of the psyche until they erupt, sometimes as sudden outbursts of rage, sometimes as anxiety attacks, or sometimes as a deep numbness that makes life feel gray and meaningless. This is why the pursuit of toxic positivity is so dangerous. It tricks us into thinking we're healing when, in reality, we're just decorating the walls of our basement while the clutter grows more unmanageable beneath our feet. True spirituality isn't about banishing these feelings. It's about befriending them. It's learning to sit with sadness and listen to what it's trying to tell you. It's allowing anger to rise and using its fiery energy to set clear, healthy boundaries. It's welcoming fear as a guide, letting it sharpen your awareness rather than paralyze you. When we meet our emotions with compassion instead of resistance, something profound happens. They move through us. They don't get stuck. They don't grow toxic. They simply pass, like clouds drifting across a clear sky. This doesn't mean we indulge in every feeling or let them control our actions. It means we recognize them as part of the natural rhythm of being human. Just as the tide rises and falls, so do our emotions. We are not the tide. We are the ocean that holds it all. If you've been caught in the cycle of toxic positivity, I want you to know this: you are not failing because you feel deeply. You are not less spiritual because sadness visits you, or because anger burns within you at times. These are signs that you are alive, fully and beautifully human. The key is to create space within yourself where all of these emotions are allowed to exist, not as rulers, not as invaders, but as passing guests. When you stop fighting what arises, and you stop waging war on yourself, and in that quiet acceptance, a deeper kind of peace begins to take root. True light doesn't come from denying the darkness. It comes from embracing it, learning from it, and allowing it to transform you. The path forward isn't to plaster a smile over your pain. It's to sit in the stillness of your own heart and whisper to yourself, "It's okay to feel this. It's safe to be exactly as I am." And from that place of honesty and tenderness, real healing begins. 5. The 7-minute technique to release heavy energy. There are moments in life when words fall short, when thinking harder or pushing yourself further only deepens the exhaustion. In those moments, what you need is not more effort, but a return to the simple, ancient rhythms that your body already knows. This 7-minute practice is exactly that: a gentle reset, a way to come back home to yourself. It doesn't require belief, special tools, or years of training. All it asks of you is a few quiet minutes and a willingness to soften. Think of this practice like clearing a window that's been clouded by dust and rain for far too long. You don't need to replace the window, you just need to clean it, to let the light back through. Your inner world works the same way. Beneath the fog of stress and negativity, there is clarity waiting to be revealed. Begin by finding a space where you won't be disturbed. It doesn't need to be perfect. A quiet corner of your room, a confortable chair, even the side of your bed will do. What matters most is that you feel safe enough to let go. Now, close your eyes gently. Let the outside world fade into the background. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Feel your lungs expand. Feel your chest open. Then, exhale slowly through your mouth, as if you were softly blowing through a straw. This isn't just about breathing. It's about signaling to your body that it is safe now, that it can begin to release the tension it has been holding on to. With each breath, notice how the muscles in your shoulders loosen, how your jaw relaxes, how the tightness in your belly begins to ease. These first few breaths are like knocking gently on the door of your nervous system, letting it know you are here, ready to reconnect. As you settle into this rhythm, bring your attention to the center of your chest, right at the heart space. Imagine, if you can, a small golden flame flickering there. At first, it may seem faint, like a tiny candle in the dark. That's okay. Don't force it. Simply see it, however it appears, and trust that it's real. With every inhale, imagine that you are feeding this flame. Watch as it grows brighter and warmer, as if each breath were a gust of life, giving strength to its glow. Feel the warmth radiate outward, filling your chest, then spreading through your entire torso. On your next few breaths, Allow this golden light to expand beyond your chest. Picture it flowing down your arms, into your hands and fingertips, down through your legs, all the way to your toes. Then let it rise up your neck, filling your head and face with a soft, comforting light. Your entire body is now lit from within, a living lantern glowing gently in the dark. Now comes a powerful shift. Imagine that this golden light continues to expand, moving beyond the boundaries of your skin. See it forming a radiant sphere around you, about an arm's length in every direction. This is your sacred space, your energetic home. As you rest inside this sphere, imagine any heaviness, any dark or stagnant energy dissolving in the presence of this light. It doesn't need to be fought or forced out, just as sunlight naturally clears away the night. This golden light effortlessly restores balance. Simply breathe and watch as the fog begins to fade. If your mind wanders, and it will gently bring it back to the breath and the light. There's no need for judgment or frustration. Each return is part of the practice. Each breath is a small act of self-compassion. After about 7 minutes, you will notice a subtle shift. Your body feels lighter, as if you've set down a burden you didn't know you were carrying. Your mind feels clearer, quieter. Even the space around you seems softer, more spacious. When you open your eyes, don't rush back into the noise of the day. Sit for a moment and notice how you feel. This is your reset. This is you remembering what it's like to be free. In just 7 minutes, you've done something profound. You've reminded yourself that no matter how heavy the world feels, there is always a place within you that is calm, strong, and untouched by the storm. And you've proven, even if only to yourself, that healing doesn't always require struggle. Sometimes, it simply begins with a breath and a bit of light. 6. Transforming darkness into strength. There is a quiet strength in learning how to let go, to cleanse your energy, to create space for light and clarity. But the ancient Egyptians understood something even more profound. They knew that true mastery did not end with clearing away what was heavy. It began when you could take that very same heaviness, the anger, the fear, the sorrow, and transform it into power. Think of a fire on a cold night. You don't curse the wood for being rough or damp. You place it carefully in the flames and watch as it's consumed, becoming warmth and light. This is how the Egyptians viewed negative energy. It was never about fighting the darkness, never about banishing it as an enemy. It was about alchemizing it, turning it into something useful, something that could serve your growth instead of your suffering. This is what spiritual alchemy truly means. It's not a metaphor from ancient texts or a poetic idea. It's a lived practice, one that begins the moment you decide to stop running from what scares you. Here's how you can begin. The next time you sit with yourself, maybe during the 7-minute practice we spoke about earlier, pay attention to your inner body. As you breathe deeply, you might notice certain areas that feel heavy or tense. Maybe there's a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your throat, or a sharp ache in your chest. These are what I like to call dark spots, places where unprocessed energy has gathered. Instead of resisting them, bring your awareness gently to these spots. With your mind's eye, see them clearly. Maybe they appear as swirling shadows, or as dense shapes lodged in your body. Whatever form they take, just notice them without judgment. Now, return to the golden flame in your heart center, that steady, glowing light you've been nurturing through your breath. This flame is more than just an image. It represents your core essence, the unshakable part of you that has survived every storm. It is your soul's fire, the place within you that cannot be broken. With intention, begin to draw the dark energy toward this inner flame. Visualize it moving inward, pulled by the gravity of your own light. As it reaches the fire, watch it begin to burn, not violently, but naturally, the way a candle consumes wax. See the shadows transform into bright, radiant energy, In this moment, you are not destroying the darkness. You are reclaiming it. You are saying, "This, too, belongs to me. This pain, this anger, this fear, it is mine to reshape." As the fire grows stronger, notice how the transformation feels in your body. Anger softens into clarity and determination, giving you the courage to set boundaries and speak your truth. Fear dissolves into courage, a deeper knowing that you can face life's uncertainties with grace. Sorrow melts into compassion, expanding your ability to hold others and yourself with tenderness. This is not an instant process. It's a practice, one that deepens with time. Some days, the flame may seem small and weak, and the darkness may feel overwhelming. That's okay. Even the tiniest spark can grow if you keep feeding it with breath and attention. The beauty of this practice is that it changes your relationship with life. You stop seeing challenges as punishments and start seeing them as raw material. Just as an artist shapes clay into a vessel, you shape your experiences, even the painful ones, into strength and wisdom. Over time, you'll notice something remarkable. Situations that once triggered you no longer have the same power. People who once drained you no longer penetrate your inner sanctuary. It's not that the world has changed, it's that you have changed. You've learned to stand in the center of your own being, to hold both light and darkness without being consumed by either. This is the essence of true spiritual power. It's not about escaping the storms of life, but about becoming the calm, steady flame that no wind can extinguish. When you realize that even your darkest emotions can be turned into light, you stop fearing them. You stop fearing yourself. And in that freedom, you discover a deeper truth. Nothing in you was ever wasted. Every shadow was simply waiting to be transformed. So the next time anger rises, or fear clenches your heart, pause, breathe, invite it closer, not as an enemy, but as a teacher. Draw it into your inner flame and let it become fuel for your awakening. The Egyptians knew this secret thousands of years ago, and now it is yours to carry forward, not just to survive the darkness, but to shine because of it. 7. The energy shield, your fortress of protection. Cleansing your energy is a profound act of self-care, but it is only the beginning. Imagine cleaning your home until every corner sparkles, only to leave the front door wide open during a storm. By the next morning, the dirt and leaves would be scattered across the floor again, undoing all your effort. This is what happens to our energy fields when we cleanse without protection. We clear away the heaviness, but if we step back into the world unguarded, the noise and negativity of others can seep in once more. It doesn't matter how strong or centered you feel right after a cleansing if you don't set a boundary. The outside world will find its way back in. That's why the ancient Egyptians, and many other wisdom traditions, taught not only how to cleanse but also how to shield. They understood that true mastery wasn't about cleaning yourself over and over, but about staying clean, maintaining a stable field so that your inner light can remain clear and strong. This practice is simple, yet deeply powerful. It begins much like the 7-minute cleansing technique. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Feel your body soften as you inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth, as though blowing gently through a straw. Once you've settled, visualize the golden flame in your chest once again. With every breath, see this flame grow brighter and larger until it fills your entire body with light. Then, allow this light to expand beyond your skin, creating a glowing sphere around you, like a warm, protective bubble. Now comes the transformative step. Imagine the outer surface of this sphere beginning to solidify not into a wall or a harsh barrier, but into a perfectly smooth, reflective mirror. The reflective side faces outward, surrounding you completely. This is your energy shield. The mirror doesn't fight or attack. It doesn't judge what approaches. It simply reflects. Any energy that does not belong to you, any anger, jealousy, anxiety, or heaviness from others, touches the surface of this shield and bounces back, returning to where it came from, often softened or neutralized in the process. Your shield doesn't push away love or connection. It isn't about shutting people out. It's about allowing only what serves your highest good to enter your space. Think of it as a filter that protects you while keeping your heart open. As you visualize this shield, say to yourself, silently or aloud, I am safe. I am protected. Only what is meant for me may enter. Feel the strength of these words settling into your body. Notice how your breath deepens, how your shoulders relax, how a quiet confidence rises within you. When you are ready, open your eyes slowly, carrying the image of this shield with you into your day. It will remain active as long as you hold the intention, and with practice, this visualization will become second nature, something you can activate in just a few breaths. Even in the middle of a crowded or stressful space, imagine starting every morning this way, before checking your phone, before facing the demands of the world. In less than a minute, you can set the tone for your entire day. Instead of walking into the world defenseless, you walk out with a silent fortress surrounding you, unseen but deeply felt. This shield gives you freedom. You no longer have to avoid certain places or people out of fear of being drained. You can sit in a crowded meeting, navigate difficult conversations, or travel through chaotic environments and remain centered. The world may swirl around you, but you stay rooted, calm, and whole. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift. Interactions that once left you feeling scattered or exhausted will no longer have the same effect. You'll begin to sense what's yours and what isn't. You'll stop taking on other people's moods, fears, and stories as if they were your own. This is one of the greatest gifts of spiritual practice, the ability to remain open-hearted without being overwhelmed. You can love deeply, care deeply, and offer compassion freely, all while maintaining the integrity of your own energy field. The ancient Egyptians understood that a ruler could not govern wisely if they were constantly influenced by the chaos of others. In the same way, you cannot live your life fully if you are always absorbing the storms of the world. So each morning, as you rise, take a moment to wrap yourself in light. Build your shield, not as a wall of fear, but as a sanctuary of clarity. Then step into the day knowing that no matter what comes, you are protected, grounded, and free to shine your light into the world undisturbed, unwavering, and whole. 8. 3 daily rituals. Less than 5 minutes to reset your energy. We often think healing has to be complicated, that it requires hours of meditation, long retreats, or a complete escape from the world. But true transformation is often found in the smallest, simplest actions, repeated with care. Just as brushing your teeth keeps them healthy, these tiny rituals keep your energy field clear and strong. They take less than 5 minutes combined, yet their effect builds day by day, gently reshaping how you move through life. These practices aren't about adding more to your to-do list. They're about weaving moments of presence into the natural rhythm of your day. Think of them as brief pauses, a way to reset and return to yourself amid the noise of the world. Morning ritual. Activating the inner sun and shield. The first few minutes after you wake up set the tone for everything that follows. Too often, we reach for our phones immediately, filling our minds with other people's voices, news headlines, and endless lists of things to do before the day even begins. We've already opened our energetic door wide and let the world rush in. Instead, try this when you wake. Stay in bed for just 60 seconds longer. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. As you breathe, bring your attention to your chest, to the space of your heart. Visualize a golden flame. They're your inner sun. See it flickering softly, warm and steady. With each breath, imagine it growing brighter and larger until the light fills your entire body. Now, allow this light to expand beyond your skin, creating a protective sphere around you. Finally, picture the surface of this sphere becoming a smooth, reflective mirror. This is your shield. It doesn't block love or connection. It simply reflects anything that doesn't serve you, sending it back to where it belongs. Silently affirm to yourself, today, my energy remains clear and sovereign. Only what nourishes me may enter. When you open your eyes, carry this image with you. In just 1 minute, you've centered yourself and set the boundaries for your day, ensuring you walk out into the world with strength and clarity. Midday ritual, washing away the outside world. As you move through your day, you encounter countless energies at work, in traffic, on public transportation, even in passing conversations with strangers. Without realizing it, you pick up fragments of other people's stress, anger, or fatigue. When you arrive home, take a brief moment before doing anything else. Go straight to a sink. As you turn on the water, bring your awareness fully to the act of washing your hands. Feel the water as it touches your skin, cool, cleansing, alive. As you rub your hands together, visualize the water, not just washing away physical dirt, but also rinsing away all the energetic residue you've picked up during the day. See the heaviness sliding off you, swirling down the drain, returning to the earth where it can be neutralized. As you dry your hands, notice how different you feel. Lighter, clearer. It's such a simple act, yet when done with intention, it marks a powerful transition. I am leaving the outside world behind. I am coming home to myself. This practice takes less than 2 minutes, but it prevents you from carrying external stress into your personal sanctuary. Evening ritual, releasing into the earth. Before you go to sleep, take another small moment for yourself. If possible, stand barefoot on grass, dirt, or even the cool floor of your home. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Now, imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet, reaching deep into the earth beneath you. With every exhale, visualize all the worries, tensions, and lingering energies from your day flowing down through these roots. See them traveling far below the surface, where the earth steady and ancient absorbs them effortlessly. You don't have to solve or fix these worries. You simply offer them to the earth, trusting in her ability to transform them into something new. As you do this, you might feel a sense of relief, as if a great weight is lifting. When you're ready, silently give thanks to the earth for holding you and for taking what you no longer need. Then step into your evening free of the burdens you carried. This ritual takes about 2 minutes, yet it clears your energy for rest and allows your body to heal deeply while you sleep. These 3 rituals, morning, midday, and evening, are like invisible anchors that keep you steady throughout the day. The morning practice prepares and protects you, setting your energy field before you step into the world. The midday practice clears away what doesn't belong to you, so you don't bring it home. The evening practice grounds and releases you, ensuring you rest in peace and renewal. In less than 5 minutes total, you create a cycle of cleansing and protection. Day after day, these small acts build a foundation of resilience. You begin to notice that you carry yourself differently, calmer, lighter, and more connected to your own center. And perhaps, as you move through life with this quiet clarity, you'll realize something profound. Healing doesn't always require dramatic breakthroughs or endless striving. Sometimes, it begins with a single, mindful breath, a splash of water, a moment of connection to the earth beneath your feet. Small things, done with love, can change everything. 9. The power of resonance, healing the world by healing yourself. There's a quiet truth we often forget. You are never just one person moving through life alone. Every breath you take, every emotion you feel, every thought that crosses your mind, it all ripples outward into the world, even when no one else is there to witness it, in ways that are invisible but deeply real. Who you are becomes a part of everyone around you. This isn't just poetic language or a comforting idea. It is a truth now supported by the very science that once ignored it. When you raise your own frequency, when you soften anger into compassion, when you release fear and allow peace to take its place, you create a shift that doesn't stop at the edge of your skin. That energy flows outward like ripples on a pond, touching the lives of those near you, and through them, touching countless others you may never meet. You've probably experienced this before, even if you didn't have words for it. Imagine walking into a room after two people have been fighting. They've gone silent, but you can still feel the tension in the air, like a storm cloud hanging overhead. Now, imagine walking into a room where someone is deeply calm, not pretending to be calm, but truly rooted and at peace. Without a single word, their presence soothes you. Your breath slows. Your body relaxes. That shift you feel, that is resonance. Quantum physics describes something remarkable called entanglement, the idea that two particles, once connected, we continue to influence each other no matter how far apart they are. In a way, human beings function like that too. Our hearts, our nervous systems, and our consciousness are constantly interacting through an invisible field of energy that surrounds and unites us all. So, when you change your inner state, you don't just change yourself. You subtly change the collective field. Think of it this way. You don't need to fix the whole world with your hands. You don't need to argue, convince, or push others to heal. All you need to do is tend to your own vibration to keep your energy clear, compassionate, and aligned, and the rest begins to unfold naturally. When you walk into a space carrying calm within you, that calm becomes contagious. Others begin to sink to it. The way one steady rhythm can bring a scattered crowd into harmony. I remember a time in my own life when I was overwhelmed by grief and fear. I didn't want to burden anyone, so I carried it silently, pretending to be fine. But when I was around others, I could see it in their eyes. My heaviness was weighing on them too. Later, when I began to heal, when I started to breathe more deeply and let my light return, I noticed something just as powerful. My peace became a gift to others. I didn't have to say a word. People around me simply felt more at ease. Conversations flowed more gently. Even strangers seemed to soften in my presence. That's when I understood healing yourself is never a selfish act. Each time you take a moment to cleanse your energy, to let go of what doesn't serve you, you are also clearing the field for others. Each time you choose compassion over judgment, you make it easier for someone else to do the same. Each time you breathe deeply and release fear, the world itself takes a deeper breath with you. This is how great change happens, not always through grand gestures, but through countless small, unseen choices made by individuals like you. You don't need to heal everyone. You don't need to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders. You only need to hold your own light, to tend to your own heart, to keep your own energy clear and strong. And yet, by doing that, you contribute to the healing of all. Think of a single candle in a dark room. It doesn't fight the darkness. It doesn't plead with other candles to light up. It simply shines. And by shining, it makes it easier for the next candle to catch fire. And the next, until the whole room glows. You are that candle. When you walk through life embodying the clarity, kindness, and calm you've cultivated within, you invite others to remember their own inner light. Some may never say a word, but they will feel it. Your energy becomes a silent offering, a form of healing far more powerful than anything you could force or demand. This is the power of resonance. It's why tending to your inner world is one of the most important things you can ever do, not just for yourself, but for the entire human family. So the next time you sit quietly and breathe, the next time you visualize your golden light expanding, remember this: you are not only healing yourself, you are sending ripples of harmony into a world that desperately needs it. And perhaps, though you may never see it, those ripples will reach someone standing on the edge of despair, giving them just enough hope to keep going, the same way someone's quiet strength once reached you. In this way, your healing becomes their healing. Your light becomes our light. And slowly, gently, together, we illuminate the world. 10. Listening to the messages of your body. Your body is always speaking to you. Quietly, patiently, without words. It sends signals about your inner world and the state of your energy. The trouble is, in today's noisy world, those messages are often drowned out by the endless chatter of the mind. The constant stream of thoughts, worries, and distractions can make it almost impossible to hear the subtle wisdom beneath it all. We've been taught to see discomfort as an enemy. A headache, take a pill, and push through. Tightness in your chest, ignore it and keep going. Fatigue, drink another cup of coffee and get back to work. We are conditioned to silence the body rather than listen to it. But what if these sensations aren't problems to be erased, but messages to be understood? Imagine your body as a loyal friend who never lies to you. It doesn't speak in sentences or advice, but in sensations, rhythms, and signals. A sudden heaviness in your shoulders, an ache in your lower back, a wave of unexplained tiredness. These are not random inconveniences. They are the body's way of saying, pay attention. Something within you needs care. When you ignore these signals, they don't simply go away. They grow louder, like a whisper that turns into a shout. A small discomfort becomes a lingering pain. Mild fatigue deepens into complete exhaustion. This is not punishment, it's persistence. Your body will keep trying to get your attention until you finally stop and listen. Listening to your body is an act of deep presence. It asks you to pause, to turn inward, and to be fully here, even if just for a moment. This can be uncomfortable at first. When you sit quietly and feel, you may notice emotions or memories you've been avoiding. You may realize how often you've pushed yourself past your limits without rest. But this honesty is where true healing begins. Consider the messages your body might be sending you. A headache might be telling you that your mind has been overloaded, that you've been carrying too many thoughts, too much pressure. It could be a signal to step back, breathe, and allow space for stillness. Tightness in your chest may point to unspoken grief, fear, or anxiety. It could be your heart asking you to release what you've been holding inside, to cry if you need to share your truth instead of burying it. Unusual fatigue might not just be physical tiredness. It could mean you've been surrounded by energies that drain you, and your system is craving, cleansing, and renewal. When you treat these sensations with respect instead of resistance, everything changes. You no longer see your body as a machine to be forced into productivity, but as a living, breathing compass guiding you toward balance. To listen deeply, you must be willing to slow down. Even a few quiet breaths can open the door. Close your eyes. Place your hand on the part of your body that feels tense or uncomfortable, and simply ask, "What are you trying to tell me?" At first, you may hear nothing but silence. That's okay. Stay gentle and curious. Over time, the messages will become clearer. Sometimes the body will say, "Rest now." Other times it will say, "Move your energy, shake, and stretch, dance." And sometimes it will guide you to face a truth you've been avoiding, because that is the only way forward. This practice of listening builds trust, not just with your body, but with yourself It reconnects you with the natural wisdom that has always been there, waiting beneath the noise of the mind. I've found that when I truly listen, my body becomes an ally instead of an obstacle. The headache becomes a reminder to breathe. The fatigue becomes a call to simplify my life. The heaviness in my chest becomes an invitation to let go of what no longer serves me. Every signal is a map, pointing you back to wholeness. You don't need to fear these sensations or fight them. You only need to approach them with presence and compassion. In doing so, you discover that your body is not separate from your spiritual journey. It is the vessel through which your soul speaks. So the next time discomfort arises, pause. Place your attention gently on that place. Breathe deeply. Instead of asking, "How do I make this go away?" ask, "What are you showing me?" In that simple shift, you move from battling your body to partnering with it. And slowly, you'll come to realize that every ache, every tightness, every subtle whisper was never meant to harm you. It was always guiding you home. 11. Presence, the most powerful medicine. In all the practices we've explored: cleansing, breathing, visualizing, transforming, there is one thread that ties them all together. Without it, every technique becomes hollow, mechanical, even frustrating. With it, even the simplest act, a single breath, a moment of stillness, can bring profound healing. That thread is presence. Presence is not a complicated spiritual concept. It's not something you have to earn or chase. It's simply being here, fully, in this very moment, awake to your breath, aware of your body, connected to what is real right now. The challenge is that we live in a world that constantly pulls us away from this simple truth. Our minds are like restless travelers, always leaping into the past or rushing toward the future. We replay old conversations, worrying about what was said. We imagine scenarios that haven't happened yet, bracing ourselves for problems that may never come. In this constant mental storm, we become disconnected, not just from the world around us, but from ourselves. And this disconnection creates a fertile ground for negative energy. It's like leaving a window open during a storm. The wind, the dust, the rain, all of it rushes in, unchecked. When we are absent from the present moment, old pain creeps in. Other people's emotions stick to us, and fear multiplies. But the moment you return to presence, something extraordinary happens. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deliberate breath. Feel the air moving into your lungs, cool and alive. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the subtle rhythm of life itself. For this single breath, let everything else fade away: the past, the future, even the story you tell yourself about who you are. Just this. Just now, in that quiet space, the noise begins to dissolve. The fog of negative energy, which once felt so heavy, simply melts away like mist under the morning sun. You don't have to fight it or fix it. It cannot survive the light of pure awareness. This is why the great masters throughout history, from ancient monks to modern teachers, have always emphasized presence as the heart of true healing. They knew that techniques, rituals, and words are merely doors. Presence is the key that opens them. Without presence, you can perform the most elaborate practices and still feel empty. With presence, even the simplest act becomes sacred. Think of a river. If the water is clear, you can see the stones beneath, the fish swimming, the patterns of light dancing on the surface. But if you stir the water constantly, it becomes muddy and opaque. The clarity was never lost. It was just hidden by the disturbance. Your inner world works the same way. When you are fully present, the mud of confusion and pain naturally settles. What's left is a clear, still pool of awareness, your true self, unclouded and whole. This doesn't mean life becomes perfect or free of challenges. The storms will still come. People will still act out of anger or fear. You will still face moments of sadness and uncertainty. But when you meet those moments with presence, you stop adding extra suffering. Instead of drowning in the waves, you become the steady shore that holds them. Presence is also deeply practical. It helps you know when to act and when to rest. When you're caught up in the mind's endless chatter, decisions feel overwhelming. You second-guess yourself, spinning in circles. But in presence, clarity arises naturally. The next step reveals itself, like a path emerging as the fog lifts. It's important to remember that presence is not something you achieve once and never lose. It's a practice, a gentle returning, again and again. Some days you may feel spacious and awake. Other days, distracted and scattered. That's okay. Each moment is a new invitation to come home. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You may find yourself pausing in the middle of a conversation to take a conscious breath. You may notice the feel of sunlight on your skin as you walk outside. You may catch yourself before reacting in anger, choosing instead to respond with calm. These small moments of presence begin to weave together, creating a life that feels steady and whole. Presence doesn't require a special place or time. It doesn't depend on perfect conditions. It is available right here, right now, wherever you are. And here's the most beautiful part: when you are present, you bring others into presence too. Just as a calm person can soothe a chaotic room, your grounded energy becomes a refuge for those around you. Without trying, you give them permission to slow down, to breathe, to remember themselves. In this way, presence is not only a personal practice but also a gift to the world. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause, close your eyes, breathe deeply, notice what's here. In this exact moment, the mind will try to complicate it. But the truth is simple. Your presence is the most powerful medicine you have ever known. It heals without force, without struggle, without effort. It simply reveals what has always been held beneath the noise. And from that space, everything begins to change, becoming the lighthouse. You don't have to fight the darkness. You don't have to run from it either. For so much of our lives, we are taught to see the shadows, our pain, our fear, our anger as enemies to be conquered or escaped. We try to bury them under busyness or numb them with distractions. We tell ourselves that if we can just push harder, smile wider, or be stronger, we'll finally be free. But freedom doesn't come from force. It comes from understanding. The truth is simple. The darkness you've been afraid of is not here to destroy you. It is here to teach you, to point you toward the parts of yourself that need care and healing. You don't need to fight it. You only need to see it clearly, cleanse it gently, transform it patiently, and protect the light that is already within you. These are the three keys we've explored: cleansing, transforming, and protecting. Cleansing clears away the dust and heaviness you've gathered. Just as you would wash your hands after a long day, it brings you back to your natural state of clarity. Transforming allows you to take what once felt like poison and turn it into medicine, to use your pain as fuel for growth, to let fear become courage and sorrow become compassion. Protecting ensures that your light stays strong, so that the storms of the world can no longer drain you or pull you off course. With these three keys, you hold a map back to freedom. And yet, this journey is not only about you. When you heal yourself, you are doing far more than tending to your own heart. You are sending ripples of healing out into the collective field of humanity. Each breath you take with presence, each act of compassion toward yourself, each moment you choose clarity over chaos, it all becomes a wave of harmony that touches others, even those you will never meet. You've felt this before, haven't you? Perhaps you've been in the presence of someone so calm and grounded that you instantly felt safer, lighter, more at ease. Maybe they didn't even say a word. Their very being was the medicine You have that power too. When you embody the practices we've explored, when you cleanse your energy, transform your shadows, and protect your field, you become a lighthouse. You don't need to chase anyone or force them to change. You simply shine, and in shining, you help others remember their own light. Think of the world as a stormy sea. There are waves of fear, currents of anger, whirlpools of confusion. Most people are just trying to stay afloat, struggling in the darkness, unsure of which way to swim. Now imagine a single AQ, steady light glowing on the shore. It doesn't rush into the water. It doesn't shout directions. It just stands firm, casting its beam across the waves. And because of that light, others can see where they are. They can find their way home. You can be that light. Every breath you take with awareness, every moment you choose to act from love instead of fear, every time you tend to your own energy, you are guiding others, even if you never realize it. And here's the miracle: as you heal yourself, you heal the world. The planet doesn't need more people drowning in the same old pain, repeating the same old patterns. It needs people who are willing to step into clarity, who are brave enough to shine even when the night is at its darkest. So take a deep breath. Feel it. Fill your chest, your belly, your entire being. As you exhale, imagine that breath carrying peace out into the world, touching someone, somewhere, who needs it. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to save everyone. You only have to tend to the light inside of you and let it be seen. And when others witness that light, something in them will remember. Even in the deepest night, the dawn is always coming. So stand tall, like a lighthouse amid the storm. Shine so others can find their way. And never forget that your light is not only for you, it is for all of us. A reminder that even in the darkest ocean, the light has never left.